I was prepping this wonderful inspirational speech and I was looking up inspirational quotes, and I had a moment that hit me while I was doing that. And I was looking up quotes about whether you're going to forge your own path or if you're going to walk the steps of a legend, right? And there's this whole judgment around taking your own leap or being in business and walking the steps that, maybe it's the business binary that we've been talking about. And I had this moment where it kind of just hit me and I just said, you know what, it doesn't fucking matter what path you take. It's not the path that matters, right? Like if you show up on either path or any path and you're consistent and you keep putting one foot ahead of the other and you show up on the bad days, like you're going to find your way to where you're going. But it made me pause and start to question, especially when I'm thinking of QBA, when I'm thinking of a membership launch and I'm thinking of community, what actually does matter? And right now, this is all hitting at a time where I'm home taking care of family through recent losses. So lifespan and what matters is heavily on my mind right now. And I've been thinking just the past couple of weeks, if I were gone today, looking back, what would actually stay with me? What would be the things that crossed my mind as I was crossing over into a new space? And when I thought about it, I had memories flash in my mind of the days of being an entrepreneur when I was questioning everything about this path that I chose, where I didn't feel like I had what it took. And I wasn't sure why I did what I did. And how in those moments, it was the people I reached out to that reminded me why I went down this path, or who simply just held the space and said, I've been there. It's really rough and you're going to make it through. And I believe in you. I thought of all the QBA meetings I've been a part of, hours of months and months of meetings where we were, most often I left those nights feeling so much better than how I had entered them, because all of us showed up tired, probably working the whole day, maybe having some rough moments, not really quite sure what was going on with our businesses. And yet just to come together and have camaraderie with other queer entrepreneurs and talk about why we were showing up in those evenings, even though we were all tired, what was important about that and what we really wanted to create, and getting to be inspired by your peers. I don't know about you, but there's not a lot of places where I get to get inspired by my peers. And that's what QBA has been for me. I think a lot about the moments where I've had some rough spots and I've had family and friends show up and literally support me in every way they possibly could for me to know that I would be able to be okay the next day. Whether that was literally they are helping support me, or referring clients to me, or investing in my business and my work that I do. And showing to me, I think what's been most on my mind is that I've had so many moments with community where I came and felt so broken, but they were able to see my wholeness. And when I think of what we're doing here in QBA, walking the path of queer life, I think there's many times where we can feel wrong and broken. And to have someone else be able to see your wholeness, to see your possibilities in times where you can't, that's what gets you to the next space. And I think that's what QBA is wanting to offer. We're not telling you to come be a part of an organization so that we can show you how to fit into business, so that we can show you how to walk the path. We've all learned how to do that. Every single one of us has learned how to fit into the world by being other. What we want to do is teach you how to create your own path, is to teach you how to enter a space and transform it because of who you are, not despite who you are. That your queerness is actually your gift and your brilliance that you're bringing. And when I think of the world that we're in today, where there's so much division, there's so much hate, there's so much confusion and fear of the unknown, I think of a queer community who we know unknown, we know fear, and we know how to overcome through love. We know how to overcome through community. The reason we are all here today is because of our, ancestors, our generations of previous queers who were able to stick together in order to create a world where we can now exist openly. And I don't think that like we're wanting to fit into business. I actually think business needs us for the next place that it's trying to go. Because quite honestly, business needs soul and business needs love and it needs connection right now more than ever. And in my opinion, queers are perfectly equipped to take on this role in business. We've got that resilient skill. We have that heart that has had to learn how to overcome a lot of pain and brokenness. We know how to be in a world of unknown and not wanted, and to still find a space there. And that's what QBA is hoping to become. It's what we're hoping to create. And we need you all to create it with us. When I think of like what matters at the end of the day, what matters on the path, I think what matters is who's beside you at the end of it. How have you showed up along the way? And what's the impact you've had at the end of the road? And in my opinion, our possibilities where we could all be in the next 5 to 10 years could be pretty incredible, because as you think of Jade's story, representation matters. Others seeing queers in spaces of business matters. And I can imagine all of you just taking a moment to think of the first time you saw someone that connected to that part of you that you thought was shameful and seeing them own it in the world. I think of Joan Jett when I was probably 6 or 7 years old and I first saw her video, and how all I saw was this woman who could own her difference, her vibrant, fierce, intense spirit in such a wonderful way that people were actually respecting and wanted more of, and how much that one moment impacted me for the rest of my life. That's what we could be for so many youth that really need representation and examples in the world today.